I'm ready whenever you are, bud.
All right.
Start with that noise right there.
That'll be the cold open. Just all of my bodily noises that go on during this podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Hour with the Brewd. I am, as always, Bud Robinson. To my left, or to my right, this guy over here. That's Leon Robinson. Say hi, Leon.
Hi, Leon.
And to the other side of me is Town Drunk. Is that how we're addressing you now?
I don't know. I'm just Town. I'm the Town.
Town. I'm just going to say your name. I'm just going to say Town 15 times. And that's your name.
That works. That works for me.
All right. So today, I don't know if I should be entirely honest here. We didn't really prepare anything. Because we couldn't think of anything clever. So instead, we decided to tap into cantankerous Leon Robinson energy. And we're going to talk about Roman Reigns. Now, I, just as an aside, I have not followed WWE very much, if at all. I've looked at some of the results. I don't really know what's going on with Roman Reigns. I just know that Leon really, really doesn't like the dude.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of me and Orange Cassidy.
It seems that way, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
So I don't know, where should we start here?
I think we should start with basically what we're going to kind of touch on here is the absolute failure that has been Roman Reigns. And I don't dislike Roman because I think he's a good wrestler and I think he's decent at what he does, but they have not done a good job ever booking him.
Mm-mm.
And I thought for a sliver of time they were going to pull it off. And then, like with heel Roman,
mm-hmm.
It worked really well for a month, and then it kind of shit the bed. So I think the way we should approach it is we should start back at the beginning and talk about the Shield.
Oh yes, the Shield. I do know the Shield. I didn't think we were going that far back.
I think we do, because I think that's when the whole thing with him kind of started.
I always thought he was the weakest member of the three of them. I think that Dean Ambrose was my favorite. He reminded me a lot of Jake the Snake and sort of Raven, I guess. But like, they always treated him like nothing. They made a bigger deal of Seth Rollins and Roman.
I always felt like the way they came in. You had these two guys that were like proven commodities, and Dean, guy I'm not going to remember to call him Dean Ambrose. He's freaking John Moxley to me. In Moxley and Rollins, and when you watched him work, Moxley was good.
Mm-hmm.
Moxley was good all around. He could work. He had a character. Everything he did was good. He understood the psychology. Seth Rollins came in, and he was a really good worker, but he didn't really have character that made sense.
Yeah.
And then there was Roman Reigns, who was tall guy with greasy hair, big muscles. I'm tough.
Then he's related to The Rock.
That was his gimmick.
Forget that.
It was like one of these things is not like the other.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Shield though, Leon?
They were an interesting concept.
Okay, I agree with him. What did you think of the execution?
If you want to go right from the start, I believe it was on his Best in the World DVD. Punk talked about how what he had pitched for it was Seth and Dean, and then he had also pushed for the third member of the Shield to be his old indie stomping buddy Chris Hero, aka Cassius Ohno.
Accurate. Totally accurate.
But somebody high up Vincent had a hard-on for one Leaky and decided that he would be the third person. And right from there is the beginning of him getting something he shouldn't have gotten.
You're right. He was so much greener than those other guys, and he was so much more not hashed out than those other guys. He just felt like a guy who needed a lot of experience. He's a good. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's got a phenomenal look. His promo skills were shit. His in-ring work was pretty blah. I mean, at the beginning, it was just kind of like, looking back, you thought these three guys are cool, but if you actually go back and you look at that, you can see them from the get-go positioning Roman Reigns to be the guy. So I do think they brought him in with the intent of making him the guy. I don't think they thought the Shield was going to be as popular as it was.
That's probably true.
And I think it caught him off guard, but then it was just, well, they're popular because of Roman. And I can see the mental gymnastics to get there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they ever respected they never respected Moxley for what Moxley could do. Because Moxley that guy literally can make anything work. He could get a gimmick where he wore a paper bag on his head over. Like, that's just who John Moxley is. And then Rollins is a really, really good in-ring worker. And I think as you saw the Shield grow, you had these two guys in Moxley and Rollins that started to have these really good matches. And then you had Roman who did a spear and a powerbomb. And that was his... And then they do a triple promo, a three-way promo where they were talking, and Roman would always be the guy that was like, ugh. That was all he did. So...
Yeah.
Then I think the next thing we roll into would be the second greatest Royal Rumble of all time, where Batista won the Royal Rumble, which I literally go back and watch because it was such a fun Royal Rumble for me to watch as a fan who was cynical. Have you ever seen that Rumble, bud?
No, I haven't.
It was the worst. It was the second worst Royal Rumble of all time. Okay.
I had heard that a number of times, and I was wondering if you were joking. I heard that Batista won it, and I was like, I don't want to watch that.
No one did, and they just pushed him as this conquering, coming back babyface, and it was like the crowd shit on him from day one. And the only person in the entire world the fans cared about was Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. Nothing else mattered. And they had this Rumble, and this to me was the true kiss of death, because what happened was everybody wants Daniel Bryan to come out, and they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. And 29 comes, and 30 comes. It's like 30 has to be Daniel Bryan. It's freaking Rey Mysterio. Everybody loves Rey Mysterio. You love Rey Mysterio. Leon loves Rey Mysterio. Yeah. They booed Rey Mysterio out of the fucking building because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. Okay, that's how bad it was. And then it comes down to Roman Reigns and Batista are the last two. Okay, like if that happened today, the crowd would take a shit on it. Well, what the crowd did then was they hated Batista so much, and they hadn't seen Roman, so the crowd goes absolutely fucking apeshit for Roman Reigns. They were screaming, "We want Roman," and all this. I'm surprised they haven't used those chants later in videos. They probably have, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because that's what they like to do. But, and it was just this weird moment of just being completely off base because Vince McMahon thought he made a star. And in reality, people hated Batista so much in that role instead of Daniel Bryan that they just rejected it. But because that reaction happened, in Vince's mind, it's like, well, there's my guy. Look at him, cheer for him. He's got the look. He's got incredible steel blue eyes, though he doesn't. They put eye contacts in him because that's how freaking stupid they are.
Just
and I guess at that point, I mean, Leon, I'm going to be point blank with you. When Batista won the Rumble, what was your opinion of Roman Reigns? And I think because I was watching a little more regularly back then too, and I was kind of in the same boat. It was like I didn't care about Roman. I didn't want Roman to go to WrestleMania and fight Randy Orton.
Yep.
I just really didn't want Batista to fight Randy Orton because, boy, that sounds terrible.
Yep.
And I think that's the point where it really the wheels fell off, because then Rollins turned on the Shield and they started the. Am I remembering this right, Leon? If I'm not remembering this right, correct me, but I think I am. When Rollins attacked the Shield, he hit Roman with a chair once, and then he destroyed Ambrose, aka Moxley, with a chair. And then Triple H came out and beat up Roman Reigns, because if you want to get Roman Reigns over, you got to put him with Triple H, because he's got to fight the Authority. And there's a huge disconnect coming with this. And I don't know, Bud, I don't know how well versed you are with this, but you can kind of see the problem here. It's the same problem that you had when John Cena supposedly wasn't the guy that WWE liked. It's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not our guy. And it worked really well for Steve Austin because it was a new.
Well, because Steve Austin was actually not their guy.
No.
I mean, when he took off, until he was, yeah. But like when he first started taking off, like they didn't expect any of that. They didn't expect him to take off. They didn't expect Vince McMahon to take off like he did.
So I think their logic was, if we have him go against the Authority, then people will cheer him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really where I don't think you can criticize the way he was booked in the Shield, because I think it was just they were protecting him. They were trying to make him look strong, but they had a reason for it. But then they misread the crowd, and they thought the crowd wanted this guy. When in reality, and I think this has been commonplace for WWE for a good 10 plus years, you've booked something so bad and so awful, we want anything but. No one wants this match. No one wanted Randy Orton against Batista. Not a single person wanted to see that match. Not even like the hardcore marks that think WWE is real and are like completely versed in and think it's the best wrestling in the world. They didn't even want it. They all wanted Daniel Bryan. They told the story with Daniel Bryan, and then they pulled the rug out. So,
if I remember correctly, Batista didn't even want it. He wanted to come back as a heel.
Yep.
And was it Triple H or somebody? It was like, no, you're gonna be a face. He's like,
Vince.
That sounds more accurate.
Because they wanted him to win the belt at WrestleMania and have a babyface run and go to those movie premieres with the WWE Championship.
Jeez.
Because that is what they care about. They don't care about logic. They don't care about storylines. They care about that.
Right. Yeah.
So, and this is... John Cena was booed, but it was different because John Cena had earned that spot, and John Cena was like... We all booed him and didn't like him necessarily, but we knew he was good.
Mm-hmm.
He earned that spot. Like, he got over on his own. He got over organically, and he earned that spot. And I think that's a big difference between the two. He was pushed down everybody's throats, but now suddenly we have this guy that just wasn't Batista and got cheered. And then they turn him face, and then, immediately he is getting rammed down our fucking throats.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely instantaneous. And it was just from the get-go, it was awful.
I remember, I think, reading about that when people were making a big deal about Roman, the period of time that you're talking about. And I'm like, why? There's because I remember him in the Shield, and I was like, did Seth Rollins leave? Did Dean Ambrose leave? You have two guys right there who are
good,
mountains better than he was at that time.
Yeah, and it was just, and I guess the other thing that happened after that is everybody changed. Seth Rollins changed his ring gear. Seth Rollins changed his music. He changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Dean Ambrose changed his ring gear, changed his entrance, changed everything. But because the Shield was so popular, we got to keep it on Roman. So now Roman still has his music. He's still coming through the crowd. And in the initial response to that push wasn't the worst thing in the world. He was in the Money in the Bank and something happened. I can't remember. But he just he started beating everybody. And you could see the super push starting. but it just wasn't quite there yet. And then, I mean, the moment that sticks out to me, I think he got hurt or something, and he missed a little bit of time, and then he came back, and then it was the build of the Royal Rumble the following year, which is the worst Royal Rumble ever in the history of man. Leon, don't comment on the Rumble yet, but let's talk about that push he had before that Rumble that year. What was your opinion of him as they were pushing him up the card?
To be honest, I'm not even sure where we're at.
Are you following along?
I'm not sure which Rumble this is or what he was doing.
The Rumble, we're going to go to the Rumble where Bryan got eliminated by Bray Wyatt, and then The Rock held Roman's hand up at the end.
Oh,
the first one. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that just yet, but let's talk about that initial after he got turned on by Rollins and they started him ascending the card. Your opinion when they started having him destroy everybody.
I just didn't care. I just didn't care.
I think that's something, but I think he's right. I think that kind of sums it up because we were all a little disappointed because Bryan got hurt and everything. Then he came back. And then this Royal Rumble was... I don't even have words for this Royal Rumble. This was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. Up to that point, they've probably beat it since. I can't watch it anymore. It's so bad. But I don't know. Have you ever seen this Royal Rumble, bud?
I have not. No.
Okay, so Tony's gonna give you a little Royal Rumble history lesson. So Bryan was coming back, and everybody in the crowd wanted Bryan to win. And Vince McMahon's like, "Well, he can't win. Roman Reigns has to win." Okay.
Yeah.
So they had Bray Wyatt out there pretty early. And who else was it? Rusev? Leon? Yeah, it was Rusev. Yeah, it was Rusev. Those two were in there, and they were kicking everybody's ass. Bryan came out like number 8 or something like that, like 8 or 10, like somewhere in that range. He comes out, and he starts fighting him. 3 minutes and like 20 seconds. He knocks somebody out. He's standing on the rope, and Bray Wyatt eliminates him from the Royal Rumble in Philadelphia.
I did not know that part.
And immediately the crowd shits on it.
Yeah.
Okay. And Michael Cole's on commentary like, well, their favorite star got eliminated, but that happens, da-da-da-da. So they're trying to downplay it. I think the thought process was, let's get this out of the way. Then when Roman comes out, the crowd will pick back up. Okay? And you can just watch this unfolding. Like, I watched it unfold, and I was utterly amazed. I thought for sure Bryan would be like one of the last 2 or 3. They got rid of him right away because they didn't want to have that. Their thought process was flawed. So, like, they get a couple more guys out, and then I can't believe this happened. So they're sitting there at, like, entrant 20-something. And the count, instead of starting at, like, 9, starts at 18. And they count down, so obviously it's Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
And his music hits, and he comes through the crowd, and the crowd just... they're expecting this huge pop, and Michael Cole, that's Roman Reigns, blah, blah, blah. And the crowd just shits on him. They're, like, throwing shit at him. They're booing him. There's not a single pop in that crowd.
Like, you could hear the farting and grunting from the stall.
It was bad. It was freaking bad. So he comes out, and the crowd, as he's walking through the crowd, they're just shitting on him. Like, they're absolutely shitting on him. They hate him.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in the ring, and he does these moves, and he throws somebody out, and, like, they're trying to get all excited for him. And the whole crowd just shits on him. And then, like, entrant 26 is the Big Show. Entrant 27 is Corporate Kane. Okay? That's important. Okay, and you're gonna see why this didn't work. So, like, Dolph Ziggler's out there, Moxley's out there. They have all these guys out there that are really good, and they have Big Show and Corporate Kane, who are like, okay, they're old at this point. Now they're even older. So what they proceed to do is Big Show and Corporate Kane work together. They decimate the entire ring, And one by one, they throw everybody out of the ring. Here goes Dolph Ziggler. Here goes Stardust. Here goes... actually, it was Cody Rhodes then. Here goes Bray Wyatt. Here goes this guy. Here goes... They threw out everybody except for one guy. Roman Reigns. So it's 2-on-1 with Roman Reigns. So they're trying to get sympathy heat for these two monsters. And then, of course, they're beating the shit out of Roman, and then they start fighting with each other. So Roman runs behind them and flips them both out of the ring. Okay? And the crowd is just like, what? And then they come back in the ring to beat up Roman Reigns. Because what you want to see is two guys that were popular in the year 2000, 15 years later out there.
Yeah.
They're beating him up, and then The Rock's music hits. So The Rock comes running down. He makes a save. And everything The Rock does, people cheer. And then everything that Roman does, like The Rock sets up Big Show for a Roman spear, and they just boo the spear. And then the crowd stops, and somebody realized Rusev didn't get thrown out of the ring. So the whole arena just starts chanting, "We want Rusev." Right? And Leon can attest, this is legitimately... Rusev runs the ring, runs at Roman, goes for a clothesline, gets ducked, he hits a spear, throws him over the top rope. Oh, now the crowd's just like, fucking, it's just, fuck you, chance, we hate you. So The Rock comes in the ring and gives him a hug and holds his hand up. Okay, and the crowd starts booing the fucking Rock. The crowd is booing The Rock.
Oh my god.
So my question right now is, if you're going to build a top baby face, could you have done it any fucking worse? Leon can account for that. That is legitimately what happened.
You managed to somehow get the crowd to boo The Rock because he was helping your guy. Like, you're messing something up. Like, think about what you're doing, Vince. Come on, like... Oh my god!
It was so Leon. I just want to know. It is now. It is. Then it was just that was then too. Because I watched it. And I'm like, I knew what they were going to do, and I'm like, I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they did it. They did it the way they did. I thought end it with Bryan and Roman and let Roman throw him over the top, and then let Bryan come in and shake his hand like, you beat me, you're the better man. But no, we got to have him throw out the hosses. They're big. He's got to throw out the big guys. Leon, I want your take on that Royal Rumble.
It was bad. It was very, very bad.
Oh,
like, I was fucking, like, when the realization that Rusev wasn't out yet hit, it was like, you're gonna get Rusev! Ah! And then, you know, spear.
Oh my god.
That's my dreams.
It was so... Okay, so that was literally the worst Royal Rumble ever, and nothing can compare. Like, they've had dumb ones since, but that was like the one where you're like, this is stupid. So they followed that up. They had Roman fought Bryan at the next pay-per-view. If Bryan won, he got to be in the main event match at WrestleMania, and it was a good match. It's like a forgotten about match. It was actually pretty good, and that made them more confident that Roman should be the guy because he had a good match with Daniel Bryan. However, I could walk into Dynamite tomorrow, and I could have a good match with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
I look like $1 million.
Because he knows what he's doing. Bryan Danielson knows what he's doing.
Slightly.
Like,
so, what they did, and I cannot make this up. This, like, retelling this is so fucking hilarious. They decided to do, like, one of those 24-hour shows they do where they talk about, like, the 24 hours of Royal Rumble. They made one about Roman Reigns. And they basically had him say that the Philadelphia crowd just wasn't feeling him that night. It's okay, and he knows the WrestleMania he'll get the homecoming he deserves and all this shit. Like, they were playing it off just as Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But we're going to every Monday Night Raw, which I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't watch these. I just kind of would read the results and shit. And every Monday Night Raw, they're shitting on Roman Reigns. Okay? And he's got to go conquer the beast, Brock Lesnar. And every single person in the world is sitting there, this is so fucking stupid. Okay? So the plan, and their plan really was, we're just going to have him go out there and beat Brock and become the guy, and the crowd will accept us. and they thought it was just going to be Philadelphia, and that was just because we threw out Daniel Bryan, but that's okay. They won't boo him ever again, and then they booed him every time. So fast forward to WrestleMania, and he's fighting Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and the video package was the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen going into that. I don't know if you remember that, Leon, but they portrayed Roman Reigns as this like underdog hero. They basically portrayed him like he was Daniel Bryan.
It's the whole Vince thing, and it's like you tell the crowd how they feel about this person.
Yeah.
That vice versa.
So they're like going all out, okay, and like Roman comes out, he's got fucking pyro for his crowd. If the pyro goes off, he comes through the crowd, and the crowd is just fucking tearing him to shreds. They're throwing shit at him. They're booing him. He's making his way down to the ring, okay? Brock Lesnar, who a year earlier beat The Undertaker, he's been the biggest heel in the fucking business. He's a complete asshole. He says he doesn't like wrestling, like they're playing that whole thing up. His music hits, that place goes fucking apeshit. Okay? So we flipped the whole thing. Brock Lesnar is now a babyface. Roman Reigns is a heel. Just don't tell Vince. And they have this match that is like... So Brock Lesnar beats the shit out of Roman Reigns nonstop. He just suplexes the shit out of him, clotheslines and punches and beats the shit out of him until they go outside. He pushes his head into a ring post, and Lesnar or Roman makes this comeback, and like it's supposed to be this big exciting thing, and the babyface is making the comeback, and he hits a spear on Brock Lesnar, and the crowd just fucking goes boo. They're just booing the shit out of him. And he goes for the pin, and Brock Lesnar kicks out on 2. Okay? Place goes fucking insane. Alright? And then Seth Rollins' music hits. Because he has the money in the bank. The dirty, dastardly, sneaky heel comes running to the ring to the loudest pop of the fucking night. Makes it a triple threat match. They take out Lesnar. He hits Reigns with a curb stomp and pins him. And the place went absolutely fucking insane. Like, and this Rollins was the biggest heel in the company. Like, he was the lowly, sneaky, bad, dastardly heel. Well, now he's celebrating on the ramp with fireworks, and everybody's just cheering their ass off. And then they go to Roman in the ring, and I don't know, Leon, did you ever see the video that somebody posted after WrestleMania where Roman was in the ring and leaving? And he was trying to get sympathy from the crowd, and they just booed him?
No.
So I love that. I love that match for one reason. Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it was so far off base of what they should have done. And it's like they were completely oblivious that it wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. The second reason I love that match is because they thought we're going to make Seth Rollins a heel by having him cash in, and got the biggest pop of the fucking night. I mean, Leon, 2 cents on that one?
That was hilarious. I was fucking in tears laughing at how ridiculous it all was. It made me happy that it wasn't Roman.
And I guess
they made me cheer for Rollins.
It's true, they did. And I think this is the point where you kind of have to say, okay, let's look at the big picture. This clearly didn't work at all. By no metric did this work. Okay? Our 2 biggest heels in the company got like Hulk Hogan 1985 level reactions fighting this guy. Okay? So in this situation, if you were a booker, Bud Robinson, what would you have done?
I mean, go with the crowd. I mean, I know that's not what they do, but like,
you would probably say, okay, we gotta pull the plug on this. Mm-hmm. No. Instead, they spend the whole year building him back up and pushing him again. And they just he had a feud with Bray Wyatt that year. That he just dominated Bray Wyatt. He had a feud with I'm pretty sure he feuded with Big Show and Kane that year and destroyed them. And he just kept fucking destroying people.
Mm-hmm.
And that went into Survivor Series when Rollins got hurt and had to vacate the belt. And then this next one is just boggles my mind. Because it's really fucking stupid. So Sheamus wins the Money in the Bank. Okay?
Mm.
Sheamus shouldn't be winning the Money in the Bank at that point. No. Probably ever. But, so they have Moxley and Roman Reigns fight for the belt. And they had a solid match. And Roman Reigns wins it. And they have confetti falling and shit. And then...
confetti.
Yeah, they did. They had confetti. There was confetti everywhere. I'm not kidding. Leon, do you remember this, Leon? The confetti?
No, I don't.
I remember the confetti because I was like, this is so stupid. Then
I think I blacked it out of my mind.
Triple H comes out. Or Vince, I can't remember. It was one or the other. And they try to shake his hand and get him to play by the corporate rules. And he refuses. So Sheamus runs out, hits him with a bro kick, and pins him. And wins the championship. This dude you've been trying to build up for 2 years wins the belt, and you take it off of him 30 fucking seconds later.
Jesus Christ.
It was just like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean,
you telling me this, and I'm like, all I can think is that they're not. Either they're really, really dumb. Which, that's reasonable thought. Or their whole point is, the options are they're stupid or they don't care about wrestling fans. And maybe it's
both. They're telling stories now.
I mean, they're certainly telling a story. It's not a
story
anybody cares about, but, Jesus. This was my problem with up until CM Punk left and I stopped watching. This was my biggest problem with the WWE product. It was they were trying to tell stories that I did not care about. And the ones that I really did care about were the ones that were being created by the guys like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, the guys
but then
nobody really cares about in the front
WWE,
office.
Yeah, then WWE would go in and change it and fuck it all up.
Mm-hmm.
They were really good at that.
Exactly.
I gotta finish the story.
Please do. Yes. Sorry.
So Sheamus and Roman main event the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And Roman wins the championship. So now their guy has the belt 2 times. Okay? And then they gotta, we're going to WrestleMania 32. We're going to Houston. Or no, we're going to Dallas. We're going to have 100,000 people in that arena. We gotta set up the best main event we can set up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Did they bring back Bastion Booger?
He's dead, but I wish.
My bad.
So they put Roman. Roman has to defend the belt in the Royal Rumble, and he has to be number 1. Okay. So this Royal Rumble essentially was Roman Reigns getting in there first, and pretty much throwing out everybody over the top rope. Okay.
Okay.
Except for the guy that drew number 30 and would face him at WrestleMania. Triple H.
Oh my God.
You can't see Bud Robinson's face, but I wish you could.
Why?
So, heel Triple H, who's part of the Authority, comes, throws a world champion out, wins the world championship. Okay? Now, there's a problem with this situation. As Triple H threw Roman Reigns out of the ring and won the belt, the fans went absolutely batshit crazy and cheered him.
Are you noticing a pattern, Bud?
Okay. This is just literally a 2-year period. This isn't even the heart of what happened. At this point, I just remember watching this and I'm like, when the fuck are they going to give up on this? They're clearly shoving him down our throats. And they're not stopping, and we are straight up rejecting this.
Mm-hmm.
And what they said what they said, and Leon probably heard this too. Oh, the fans are just doing the end thing. People like to boo Roman Reigns. Everybody likes him. Nobody hates him. They're just booing him because it's cool. What the fuck, man?
Highly divisive.
Yes, divisive.
Controversial.
You're ignoring, and when we're saying he's getting booed, like for John Cena, it was probably legitimately like 45% of the fan base booed him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the hardcore guys. For Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania 32, it was like 80% of the fan base booed him. Like, people fucking hated him.
Mm-hmm.
So they build this huge matchup that no one cares about. And they build this whole shit up. And you go to WrestleMania 32, which was fucking drizzling shits. It was one of the worst WrestleManias ever. I watched it with Rainville. And it started at 4 o'clock and it got done at 11:30.
Jesus Christ.
I might have watched that one.
Oh, and like AJ Styles fought, I think he fought like Jericho and lost, and he was just debuted. Like, they had all these things, and it was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is terrible. So we have this entrance in the main event, and Triple H and Stephanie come down on fucking 3-wheeled Harleys, and I, to this day, don't know what that entrance was. And I'm sitting here just like, this is fucking painful. Okay.
I remember that. Oh.
And the crowd's cheering.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd's loud. Like, the crowd was fucking loud. There's 100,000 people in this fucking place. This crowd is loud. Okay?
The word.
And Roman Reigns' music hits, and he walks out on the fucking stage. And the sound on my TV suddenly goes from a really loud crowd to nothing. I could hear the announcers. I could hear Roman's music. I heard nothing else. They muted the fucking crowd. They muted the crowd for the entire fucking match. Do you know why they muted the crowd for the entire match? Because they shit on Roman Reigns. Okay? These two guys proceeded to walk through a match that was passable, but it was like Raw main event passable. It was not good. It was just not a good match. There was no good psychology. I wasn't into it. I hated it, and I'm watching it just like, this is fucking WrestleMania main event. This is the worst WrestleMania main event ever. And it was. It was worse than that 4-way at WrestleMania 16. It was just bad. And then at the end, Roman wins the match, and they turned the crowd noise on for like a split second, and there was a pop when the match was over, and then it instantly turned to boos, and as they started to boo, they just muted the mics again.
Oh my god.
And I just remember like after that I turned my TV off and I'm sitting there with Rainville, and Rainville's completely out of the loop on what's going on in wrestling. And he just looks at me and goes, "What the fuck was that?" Like, what are we doing? You know, and it just, the biggest thing that you have at WrestleMania is that crowd, and they just shit on it. Like, they just shit on the crowd by ignoring them. I mean, that was the worst WrestleMania I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hands down. Would you agree with that one, Leon?
It was pretty bad.
I don't remember most of it. I remember the tricycles. I remember AJ Styles fighting. I don't remember who he fought.
Jericho.
I did not remember that he fought Jericho.
I'm pretty sure it was Jericho.
That's all that I remember. I think that I turned it on. I think that was one of the like, I was getting into NXT, and so I'm like, I'll check it out. And so I turned on WrestleMania, and I remember enjoying the AJ Styles match at least a little bit, and the rest of it I watched while folding laundry and doing other stuff. I don't even remember it.
Living life and not caring. It was that point. Then he comes out the next night on Raw, and it's just like the crowd's just shitting on him. And again, they're just booing Roman Reigns because it's the cool thing to do. Everybody really likes him.
Now, okay, so when you say that, the announcers actually said that? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, they
Jesus
said that.
Christ.
They said that. They legitimately said that. I watched that Raw because I'm like, I want to see this crowd reaction because they're going to shit on this guy. They're going to just absolutely fucking shit on this guy because there's no way they can't. because of how bad that was. But that was their spiel. Oh, it's a different kind of crowd after WrestleMania. They like to boo the heroes. This Roman Reigns comes out, and I want to be like, what about the past 8 months?
Always unpredictable to hear the Raw after WrestleMania.
Verbatim, what they said right there.
Jesus Christ!
They like to
shut up, Vince. Through
they like
talking
to boo their
like
heroes. And like that, at that point, it just became the disconnect. There's a disconnect with the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's at the top, and they don't want to. And I started to notice other things at this point. Like, they don't want anybody to outshine Roman in that company.
Mm-hmm.
They literally are like trashing their future and everything else for Roman Reigns. So, like, the way Steve Austin got over in '97, if they had a Steve Austin that came in right now, they would feed him to Roman Reigns as quickly as possible to end that momentum and give it to Roman. Like, that's where they're at. And I don't even know where to go from here. I mean, it's been just a shit show. I think the next, you have that title reign, then he got popped for steroids or something. Then he lost the belt to Seth Rollins, which was huge. The crowd went fucking crazy for Seth Rollins. And then they had the triple threat between the Shield members that Ambrose won at SummerSlam. Then they did the brand split again. Then I think they made him like U.S. champion. They fed Rusev to him, and then he fought Taker at Mania.
Yeah,
which was not Leon. What'd you think of that Taker Roman match at Mania?
Oh God,
it was bad.
I hated it so much.
Yeah,
it was bad.
And then the fucking next night at Raw, when he just sits out there and everybody's booing the piss out of him.
I remember that.
He's like, "This is my yard now." And then he fucking gets on Twitter and he's like, 10 minutes of booing and they would have gone even longer. Biggest heel in the business. I tweeted at him. I'm like, so we're pretending like X-Pac heat is a good thing now?
But it's not even heel heat. It's not X-Pac heat. It's
go away heat.
Yeah, like to the max. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care. I just don't want to see you. I very much dislike you. And that was... People were just tired of him. And they just kept cramming him down your fucking throat. Because he beat Taker that night after Raw. Was fucking amazing. That Taker match was sad, though, because it was like... You've taken this legend who probably should already be done. Who never should have fucking lost at WrestleMania.
No.
Yeah, he looked like shit that night, though.
Never should have lost at WrestleMania. Brock shouldn't have beat him. Never should have happened.
Yeah.
He should have retired at 30. He should have beat somebody and retired. But so he it's like he kills a part of your childhood, and you're just like, I didn't think I could hate like this. It's not even hate. It's just like, and everybody was like, oh, they got to turn him heel. But I was like, I don't know. I just don't want to watch him.
Yeah.
It's not that I hate him. I just don't want to watch him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's being shoved down my throat like he's fucking Hulk Hogan. And I don't care. But he's an edgy Hulk Hogan because he's cool and he's got steel blue eyes. I still can't, that one I can't get over. I know I bring that up all the time, but that drove me fucking nuts. Look at his steel blue eyes every fucking time. I'm like, dude, the guy's wearing contacts. I've seen him. He does not have steel blue eyes. His eyes are fucking, he's got brown eyes, which is fine. Does he have steel blue eyes right now? No, because he doesn't have steel blue eyes. But Vince wanted him to have blue eyes. He'll look like a movie star. It's just like, what the fuck? I mean, they did the shit with Braun Strowman. I think that was it. Was that after Taker? Shit's run together in my head. That was right after Taker. They had Braun Strowman jump Roman Reigns and beat the shit out of him, put him in a stretcher to get sympathy, and then he fucking... It was like my most favorite night of fucking professional wrestling because I love Braun Strowman in my own special way. I think he sucks in the ring, and I think he sucks on the mic, but he's cool. He's just a cool guy. Like, I like him. Like, I'm like, I'd hang out with that guy. When Roman Reigns was on the stretcher and they're trying to get sympathy, and he shoves all the paramedics all the way, grabs the stretcher. I'm not done with you yet, and then flips the stretcher off the fucking the landing onto the floor. That was, the crowd went fucking nuts. They had the biggest baby face ever. And they squandered him. I mean, for the same reason, because they had to get Roman over. And then he fought. Leon, were you a fan of Braun?
I just liked him beating up Roman.
Okay. I thought he was fun.
I mean,
he was so.
We went to I want to say it was a SmackDown. It might have been a Raw while that whole thing was going on, and I can't remember which one's music hit first, but I'm like, all right, we can go get some snacks now. And we went and got snacks. We didn't miss shit.
I'm
not finished with you.
That was great. I like that. Then they went in and they had Strowman won the fucking Money in the Bank. Roman got to fight Brock at SummerSlam, and like the crowd already shitting on this. It's like we're tired of Roman and Brock. Mm-hmm. We've done this too many times, but they weren't done yet. That was the thing. And then so Roman, and this might even have been a year later, but in my mind, this is just where I'm going because fuck it, I don't care. This shit's so bad. It's literally why I can't watch. Then they brought Braun out to cash in. So Lesnar beats the shit out of Reigns, then beats the shit out of Braun. And then runs back in the ring, immediately gets speared and pinned by Roman Reigns. And I'm thinking the idea, the match was like 3 minutes. I'm thinking the idea behind it was if he wins that fast, the crowd won't have time to shit on him.
They had to have everything happen immediately so they don't know what's going on. Get him the win and get him out of the fucking ring.
But they did. They won. They held up the belt in the corner, and they cut the show. They're just like, there it is. Roman Reigns won. Hero, yay! Bye. And you're just like, God. I think if he would have been pushed the right way and could have got over in a natural way, I think he would be great. Mm-hmm. I think if we've been so soured on the guy, but he got leukemia and then he left and then he came back and nobody. This actually isn't true. When he came back and fought at WrestleMania, I kind of thought, here's the dude that's coming back from leukemia. That's pretty cool. It's a good story. The crowd should not boo him. They booed him. I couldn't fucking believe it. I was sitting there like, there's no fucking way this just happened. They booed him after leukemia. And I'm just like, this is when you know. And this isn't his fault.
No, it's not.
It's the fault of the company not building this guy the right way. Because it's just like, how do you...
I look at Roman Reigns and like I think I totally agree with you. I think Roman Reigns could have been great. Like he could be a pretty good face on your card. Like, but you have to do that organically. Steve Austin was not. This is not how we got Steve Austin over. This is not how we got Shawn Michaels over or Undertaker
John Cena
or John Cena. Yeah, I mean John Cena. Yes, he was for a while sort of shoved down people's throats, but he worked for it. Like,
yeah,
it was a thing of the fans demanding it versus the fans getting it shoved down their throats.
Yes, yeah.
The thing to me is just the negative response that clearly everybody had. And there's been guys before that were supposed to be baby faces that got a negative response, and they listened. Like the Honky Tonk Man. Go back and watch that old Wrestling Superstars from like 1987 when he showed up, or 86 or whatever it was. He was supposed to be a babyface. Like he was going to be Hulk Hogan's running mate. Mm-hmm. And the crowd shit on him. And then somebody's like, what if we just turn him heel? So he had this, like, so they did some fan thing where the fans write in these letters and tell him how much they like him or whatever, and da-da-da-da-da. And they wrote all these nasty letters and said all this stuff about him. So then he turned heel, and it worked. He thought everybody loved him, but they hated him, and it worked for Honky Tonk Man. Mm-hmm. But they had the wherewithal to understand, this isn't fucking working. We got to do something different. Mm-hmm. And this time it was like, oh, we like this guy. We like the way he looks. He's got those steel blue eyes that aren't real. I'm not gonna fucking drop that. I'm just letting you know.
That's fine.
And then
I'm gonna get contacts.
You should put his steel blue eyes. Put Robinson and his steel blue eyes. Hearing Michael Cole say that also creeped me out. Here's this guy that they want to push to the top that is not ready. He wasn't ready when he first got there.
No.
Here's this guy that we're just going to put on everything. He's going to be like John Cena, but better. And we're just going to push him immediately. And he's the guy. We're going to tell you to cheer for him. You should cheer for him. It's the first time. I just feel like they don't give a shit about their fans. And they don't have to. And that is, I think, the biggest thing to me with this whole thing is they don't have to give a shit about their fans.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to because there was nowhere else to go.
That's true. Yeah.
But what happened was those ratings started to eat shit. You know, we're talking about 4, 5, 6 ratings, 7 ratings back in the high, you know, in 2000, 2001. Now we're not even getting a fucking 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the drop-off has been just insane. Well, we have a different metric. We look at Twitter. We're always on Twitter, and usually it's like, WWE fucking sucks, don't watch it. You know, it's like
WWE's trending.
And it's just... I think he is the poster boy for what's wrong with that company. Because he's, like, everything. He's just everything that's wrong with what they did. They have this company that is, like, they're dying. Creatively, they're dying. They have. Yeah. They're not gonna go to business.
Mm-mm. No.
Because they're too big.
Mm-hmm.
They have too much money. They have too much shit, and their ratings are good enough. Their ratings are going to stay right where they are. Okay, but creatively, my question is this: we remember WCW in the year 2000. Is current day WWE any different?
No.
It's just as stupid. It's just as poorly booked. It makes just as little sense. It's just we don't have David Arquette as champion.
It's just as tone deaf. If that's the right term. Like they're not.
That is.
It's not even that they're ignoring their fans. It's that they're actively trying to pretend the fans are doing something they're not. Because I don't even understand why is because they've done this before. They've taken a guy. Drew McIntyre comes to mind, his first run, where they were like, this is the guy we're going to run with. And they realized real quick that he's not the guy. And part of that was because of how they booked him. And so they pushed him too fast. They pushed him too far. And he lost clout with the fans. And then WWE was like, get out of here. You're done. So, like, what is so special about Roman Reigns that they're
steel blue eyes?
I mean, they're dreamy. If
they're living in a fucking fantasy world. I just try so hard because we man, when we were fucking teenagers, when I started watching Raw in '93, the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I watched pretty much every Monday Night Raw to 2007. 2007 was an awful year. I wasn't down with Orton, Cena, main eventing 9 out of 12 shows. Didn't care. Not a huge Randy Orton fan. More so now than I've ever been. Not going to lie. I have respect for him now. But back then, I was just like, this guy's not that good. But you try because it's like, this was such a huge part of this was a huge part of our life. Like, we were WWE fanatics.
Yeah.
Like, we were all about it. Like, we watched it, we debated it, we talked about it. We used to get together for pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we'd have, like, 10 people in my basement watching a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And now I can't even be bothered to turn one on, even though it's on Peacock and I have Peacock. Like, I don't want to turn Peacock on because it's too much effort to watch it. Like, legitimately, I don't want to go through the click, turn it on to watch it because it's that bad and it's that disappointing. I think I watched SummerSlam. Was SummerSlam the one you went to, Leon?
This last year, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that was the one I watched. I turned SummerSlam on because Leon was there. To be honest with you, that's why I turned it on. I thought maybe I'll see Leon. And
I was too far from the ring.
The big, tall, dumb head looking at the ring with a dumb look on his face. There he is.
You couldn't see my ring. You couldn't see my face unless I was eating because I was wearing my mask because I'm responsible.
Good.
You and like
Good.
4 other people in there.
Right.
But I
seriously.
turned it on and I watched. No, the Survivor Series too. But I turned SummerSlam on. I watched it. I'm like, this is terrible. Then Survivor Series this year. I think we recorded before Survivor Series or something, didn't we? I did something before. We talked about it. Was that when we started? That was about when we started.
I think so.
And I turned Survivor Series on and I watched the first match. And it was a champion versus champion match between Shinsuke and the guy with greasy long hair who fought with the rapper guy from Mexico.
What?
What?
Know his name? Bad Bunny. Who's the guy that teamed with Bad Bunny at Mania to take on the Miz?
Oh, fucking Priest.
Damian Priest. There you go. So it's Damian Priest and it's Shinsuke. Okay, I turn this on. Shinsuke has a dude with him playing guitar named Rick Boogs. Okay, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? He's like, Shinsuke Nakamura has to have a guy with him? Okay, this is weird. And they have this match, and it's the same match I've seen in WWE 50 times. And it's the same story that I've seen 50 times. Okay, their matches are all the same. The flow of their matches is the same. And Damian Priest got mad. He was too aggressive, and he got disqualified for being too aggressive. I'm like, what the fuck? And I just remember watching it. And I'm immediately, I'm just like, okay, I got to turn this off.
You're being too mean. You're out of here.
I can't do this. Like, no bell was on the line, and it's just like I can't. Just not. I just turned it off.
Supremacy.
That was the last thing that I watched from WWE, which is the booking, and it's just like the Royal Rumble is coming up, and I love me some Royal Rumble, love it, and I'm sitting here like, can I even be bothered to turn it on?
Yeah.
And I think there's I was so done with professional wrestling, and I was getting really into UFC. Like to the point where I was getting UFC every month, which is really fucking expensive, mind you.
Yeah.
$70 a pop. I'm like, ugh, but it was whatever because I like UFC. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining to me. And then in 2019, AEW pops up, and I remember when TNA showed up, and nobody gave a shit about TNA because TNA was a retread of WCW. It really was. And here comes
I tried with TNA when it started.
I mean, especially when they brought in Hogan. So when they said we're bringing in Hogan, and I don't remember who he brought with him. Bischoff,
2000. That was like 10 years.
You're done.
10 years after WCW closed.
Jesus.
So I was done with wrestling, but here's this AEW thing, and they've got some young guys that I don't know that well.
Mm-hmm.
I knew of the Young Bucks. I knew of Kenny Omega. I knew Kenny Omega was amazing. They have all these other guys, and I'm like, okay. And I remember I talked to Jensen, actually. Jensen and I had the conversation over they had the one that was free that you could get on their pay-per-view. It was like Fight for the Fallen. The first one, it was free.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going to watch it. He's like, we should watch it. So we watched it. And I'm watching this, and like, here's the first match. And I'm like, holy fuck, this is a really good match. I wonder if all their matches are going to be like this. And it was like a high-flying tag team match. And then their next match is like a brawl. And then their next match is like technical, and like there's everything, and none of the endings are the same.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm cynical. I'm cynical because of WWE. So I'm always like waiting for the other foot to drop. Like, when are they going to fuck this up? And
when are they going to throw me when are they going to throw me a big old middle finger?
But do you remember when Hangman won the belt from Omega? I was 100% convinced there was no way he was winning that match. Because in WWE, he never would have won that match.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they will not give you what you want. But Hangman, not only did he win that match, he won that fucking match decisively, which has not happened in WWE in like fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Roman.
Unless your name's Roman, yeah. But translation there. But when AEW came, it was like this whole new breath of fresh air with all these new characters and these guys that are kind of allowed to do their own thing. And I'm like, this is what professional wrestling should be, because this kind of reminds me of how Raw used to be.
Mm-hmm.
a little different. Things are here, things are there. It's not just cookie cutter. Everything in WWE is so cookie cutter and whitewashed. You listen to him cut a promo, and you're like, those aren't human words. No human alive talks like that.
It's also...
I would really like a championship opportunity, and if you don't give me one, I'll send you to the medical facility with a fractured tibial spiral fracture. The fuck are you? You know, it's
Vince
just
is
like
in the corner going, that was good work.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience. I watched Fyter Fest, which I don't think was as good. But I remember watching it. I was like,
that was the free one. That was Fyter Fest. That was Fyter Fest. I think that was the one I saw. Was that one free?
Fyter Fest was free. They had another one that was free before because they were putting out. I don't think they did pay-per-views at that point.
It was right at the start.
But it was before they got their deal in TNT. They were putting out free.
Well, they had their deal.
Shows.
They had their deal right away, but they were putting on shows before their show started. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the one that had the Young Bucks against the Cody and Dustin as a main event?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. That was the one I watched too. Yeah. I fell in love with.
I don't really remember a lot of the matches, and it was tough for me because I didn't know the guys at the point. Like a lot of the guys I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure that was when Orange Cassidy debuted.
Well, then I think we're talking about different ones. I feel like I would have
remembered
the one Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, how could you forget him?
No, this one the matches were kind of. They were just names that I didn't know. That was it. But I got into it because I was like, these guys are wrestling. They're not. It's not sport. This is clearly not sports entertainment. They're not trying to. Because I think that's the difference. Is like Vince is about the show, right? And the show has to have certain beats that Vince expects or the writers expect, and it's all about the whole thing. But like AEW, they like each match is its own thing.
But don't you think at this point in time that he's not booking for his audience? He's booking for what he thinks people want.
Yeah.
And he's booking for his own opinions.
I think so.
And he's so out of touch. He's old.
Yeah.
He's in his mid-70s. Like, dude's almost fucking 80.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't have any idea what a 16-year-old kid wants to see.
Well, not to mention and this has been true for a long time, but he surrounds himself with guys who aren't going to question him. They're not going to shoot back. And like all the guys who actually did talk back to him, CM Punk and I don't know, other guys. CM Punk is just the one that comes to Heyman. Yeah. Well, Heyman's there. He doesn't have a role as far as I know.
Yeah.
But like they're not in the company anymore. So like he has nobody in his ear saying your stuff sucks. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's bad. It's bad when Leon starts to say it's bad.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Because Leon, you are the most positive. You're the most positive wrestling fan I've ever met. You try to be so diehard, and when you're sitting here saying, "I can't watch this," that's when I know it's bad.
Seriously.
It's just
like I'd been walking that line for a while, like pretty much since Dynamite debuted. I've been watching both and keeping up and yada yada, but then fucking since Punk showed up and everything, it's just
why bother?
The differences are too stark, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Like there's a show where they may not they may tease something a little bit too long or something like that, but they follow through with shit and things make sense. Like one of the main things that I've taken from some of the other internet wrestling nerds that I hang around with a lot, one of whom was is a booker and writer and all that fun stuff is justice served. Like, if a dastardly healed keeps dastardly healing around, eventually they got to get their comeuppance and everything. In the E, I mean, that doesn't always fucking happen.
No.
Never happened.
Especially with Roman. Like, he's been healing it up for fucking 2-3 years now, and nobody's touched him.
Or Brock.
It's just been him shitting on everyone who comes near him, including his own family, which they've kind of teased a couple times of, oh, they're gonna leave, and then it's like, nope, they got beaten back into submission. They're still with their boy Roman. Like,
you saying
fucking,
that? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just shit makes sense, and like AEW, they'll tease something, but then they follow through. They don't tease it just to yank the rug out from underneath you and say, "Ha ha ha! You stupid fucking idiot! You thought that was really going to happen."
What they do. That's how I feel. I feel offended when I watch WWE because I feel like they think I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. The endings are so
you
stupid.
You really thought this was going to happen.
And you watch something,
fucking moron.
And if you get even remotely interested in it, it's so bad at the end. It's just like, this is stupid. They think I'm stupid. They literally think I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Go, bud. You were going to say something.
I was thinking about this the other day, and they're the two the guys I know primarily right now are the two big guys are Brock and Roman, and like in a lot of ways, those two they're like attractions more than they are wrestlers, because Brock is this big monster, and he's been billed as a big monster for so long. And that's when Vince needs a big monster, needs somebody to mess things up, he calls up Brock and, signs him up for a 3-month contract or whatever. And
making more money than we'll ever make in our whole fucking life combined.
Yeah, exactly. And I sort of wonder if he's just doing the same thing with, because like if you look at the Shield and you look at Seth Rollins, you look at Jon Moxley, you look at Roman Reigns, you're like, Roman Reigns is the big guy of the group. Like, that's clear. He's the heavy, obviously. And they're just like, well, we're going to make him into a WWE image. And then if he's a WWE guy, we don't have to fork out tons of money to have this attraction, to have this... All of this to say that I think he books these big monsters and like these attractions, not just monsters, guys who are attractions. And he's just convinced that the only ones that draw anymore are the big guys.
Because he doesn't give anybody a chance.
No, he doesn't. And he doesn't respect... I mean,
That's the other thing, though. That's the other thing, though, is if you're not Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar and you watch how they get booked, you look like a fucking idiot 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, you look stupid. Always look stupid.
But
the heels always get the upper hand. The baby faces always look dumb. The baby faces always fall for everything that's stupid. And it's just like, you don't ever feel bad for a baby face because it's like, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah.
You're just a fucking moron.
I think back to the Punk DVD, and Punk was like, Vince likes this to be the Wild West. And I really wonder if that's true anymore, because I've heard from so many different people that, this shit's scripted. This was scripted, this was scripted, this was scripted. How many guys are either willing to throw out the script or are encouraged to throw out the script and say their own thing? Probably not anybody. I mean, that's probably the reason Ambrose is left.
Maybe Brock and maybe Roman.
Yeah.
That's about it. Maybe Heyman. But the rest of those guys...
And I have to imagine that Vince prefers that, honestly, because then he can control his superstars better.
It's all about control and image and...
Yeah.
Championship opportunities. Yo, I want a shot at your belt. You can't say belt. It's a championship opportunity. A championship opportunity match.
Can't say a title shot.
No, it's a championship opportunity match. Who talks like this?
Superstars, not wrestlers. Superstars.
just its own way of imaging them, and just I mean, there's some, like,
WWE
we
Universe.
literally just sound like disgruntled assholes right now, but like we
Yeah.
were there for so much. We saw so much of this, and like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done. Like I don't want to watch the Royal Rumble. I don't want to watch. Like I don't care. I'm gonna watch AEW because I enjoy AEW. I watch AEW. I have fun. I turned it off. I'm good. I watch anything WWE. I hate it, and then I immediately fucking regret it, and it pisses me off for 3 days.
Well,
Just they can do better.
I'm going to go ahead and quote you from a few episodes ago. I had the same problem, and then I did this amazing fucking thing where I just stopped watching. And then life was
amazing,
great.
isn't it? Yeah. That's exactly what I did. Exactly what I did. But it just boggles my mind that WrestleMania is coming up, and I don't care.
I didn't even remember that it was. So you just said it just now.
It's always in March or April usually. But it's just like, it's WrestleMania season.
Mm-hmm.
We used to have wild-ass WrestleMania parties. We'd predict all the matches and do all that shit, and it was like the biggest thing in the world. And now it's like, oh, WrestleMania's on? Cool, I'm going to go, I don't know, watch YouTube.
I gotta get my laundry done. I'm going to do that.
That's what Bud Robinson does.
Probably.
I don't know. I think Roman's a talented guy. I think Roman has found his character.
Yeah.
I think he's found his place. I think he's found what he's good at. But the problem is he did so much damage prior to that, and now you're booking a heel that nobody can touch.
Mm-hmm.
And who is going to beat him? Brock Lesnar. And who's going to beat Brock Lesnar? Roman Reigns. And who's going to beat Roman Reigns? Brock Lesnar. The problem is huge. Until Gable Steveson comes, because you already know Vince has a boner for that guy. That guy's going to come in. His first WrestleMania opponent will be Brock Lesnar. He'll beat Brock Lesnar in the middle of the ring. I fucking guarantee it.
Who's going to do that?
Gable Steveson. Until they change his name to like Chip McGillicuddy or something.
I thought Braun Breaker was the new chosen one.
No, Gable Steveson will be they're going to debut him at Mania. Braun Breaker, if you watch Braun Breaker work, he's not bad. He's got a good look. The only problem with the whole thing is that his name is Braun Breaker. It's so fucking bad.
Instead of whatever his name's Steiner?
There's a girl in NXT, and her gimmick is that she sleeps. She's tired. So she's on the ring apron and she's sleeping, and then she gets tagged in and wrestles, and then gets tagged out and goes back and sleeps.
That sounds like Vince McMahon Googled Orange Cassidy because people thought he was popular and was like, let's do that. But didn't understand. They have a skateboard girl too.
Who can't skateboard.
Who
cannot skateboard. They've got an Italian guy who's supposed to be a mobster. But like a mob, and like that's the kids will love it, but no one really knows what a mobster is. Because the guy's like a 1936 mobster.
What's that?
Even if it's somebody that like from The Godfather, like if you talk about the guy, I work at a high school, I would know this. If you talk to the kids about The Godfather, they just look at you like, what the hell are you talking about? Yup.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea. Oh, NXT, we could have done an episode on NXT 2.0 because it is possibly the worst thing on TV. Like as bad as Raw is and as bad as SmackDown is, NXT 2.0 is worse because the people there also can't work because they're back to hiring non-wrestlers.
Yeah.
We have this girl. She's beautiful. She's got humongous boobs. She was a model. She's never worked a match, but we're going to put her live on TV. And then you watch and you're like, oh my God.
No. I don't understand them. I don't understand them.
You got to go back to what worked. And they went back a little bit. Now they're going back a little more. So the Attitude Era, pretty soon they'll be in like the mid-90s, like 93 when the wrestling business fell completely on its ass. We'll have like King Mabel 2.0. They'll just send some fat guy, make him champion. All they're doing.
93 when they were getting stomped by WCW.
That was actually more like 95, 96.
Yeah, I suppose.
But 90, if you want to watch bad WWF, I'm calling it that because in 93 it was. Go watch King of the Ring 93 when Mabel won the freaking King of the Ring and then fought Diesel at SummerSlam for the championship. And not only that, they had a co-main event of Diesel versus Mabel and Undertaker versus Underfaker.
I think I did watch that.
The Undertaker Underfaker match went 36 minutes, and it should have went 2. But they're so tone deaf.
They are.
And Roman's just kind of the tip of the iceberg, which is a shame. Because I think in the right circumstance, I think he could be really a useful piece of the equation.
I just think that they have to have a lot of guys like that. I know that they have other guys like that who are underutilized, not like Roman Reigns, but like utilized in the wrong way and could be great elsewhere. The biggest
thing for me this past year in 2021 was Bryan Danielson. Okay. Mm-hmm. Daniel Bryan was amazing. That guy had the best match on every card.
Yeah.
And he leaves and he goes to AEW. And you watch his first match in AEW and you just go, holy shit.
Yeah.
And then you watch his second match and you go, holy shit. He's incredible.
He is.
He is the best wrestler in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's better than Kenny Omega. He is better than everybody. He is the best wrestler in the world. How do you take the best wrestler in the world and not utilize him?
That's right.
Like, I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna. I'm amazed. Like, Daniel Bryan's always been incredible, and now he's Bryan Danielson, and it's just like he's 400 times freaking better.
Yeah.
How do you pull that off?
I mean, he was amazing in Ring of Honor, and then he went through the WWE and like gained all this knowledge about, and like he was gaining knowledge from the producers and from guys like William Regal and the veterans, and like it shows he's upped his game, and now he's Ring of Honor Bryan Danielson,
but better,
but way better.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good. It's just like I don't know, and you just look the way they booked him and the way they handled him, and like I get that he's 5'7", and I get that he's like 170 pounds, but he's kind of a monster.
But he's a killer, and
he's a fucking killer.
Did that? They never played with that angle in WWE. We were supposed to be talking about Roman Reigns.
We did. We just got here.
It's fine. No, it's fine. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It
all just kind of unfolded naturally.
It's just like you look at how they're dealing with. You look at how they're dealing with Punk. You look at how they're dealing with Danielson and Adam Cole, and like they're letting them shine in their own way. And the thing that amazes me about AEW versus WWE, what's up?
I just want to say Orange Cassidy better fucking pin Adam Cole. I'm getting tired of it. Keep on.
I'm down with that. Even that, like their entire, all of the programs that they have, it's organic. Like they're not trying to force anything.
Yeah.
And WWE does. WWE cares about like 20% of the card on any given night, and the rest of it they just throw together at the last moment, I think, and hope something sticks. That's my guess. I don't know, but like I don't care about most of the matches. But like they have Shinsuke Nakamura, they have Asuka, they have Cesaro, they have Kevin Owens, they have all of these guys who are amazing, and they're getting lost because they don't care.
Roman's got a look strong.
Doesn't care. Exactly. And that's the thing. Like,
see how we brought that back?
Yeah.
I do honestly think though that he is just the poster boy for what's wrong, and it's not his fault. It's a complete lack of if they don't know how to build anybody, that he can't create stars.
I think Roman Reigns, the character, is. Because like we said, like I think Roman Reigns would be good.
I watch him wrestle, and he's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's bad. I think he understands crowd psychology, and I think he's he's got his promos down. Like, he's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his character has been so misused. It's just like, I don't care. I don't want to see you wrestle.
Yeah.
I would rather watch Johnny Hungy from the Dark Order.
I love Johnny Hungy.
My second favorite wrestler in AEW, perhaps.
You two have a date with our fists. Oh my god, I loved that line.
But, like, I give a shit more about Johnny Hungy, who literally is a joke wrestler in AEW. Kind of. Their joke wrestlers are a little different over there.
Yeah.
But, like, I give a shit more about Johnny Hungy than Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
He's great. He's entertaining.
Like, that's because, I think that's because WWE says, I don't like so-and-so, give him a joke gimmick. You're going to stab yourself in the face. You're freaking me out. I lost my train of thought. Keep it away from your eyes, Town.
Holy fuck.
I think the second half of this episode could have been like its own episode.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it all goes together.
No, I do. I just think, like, I think we have so much to say on this matter. Like, to my point, joke wrestlers in AEW, they have their gimmick, and a lot of them gravitate towards gimmick or like joke gimmicks, but they're still awesome in the ring. Whereas WWE, I think they see a guy, for whatever reason they don't like him, and it doesn't matter if he's good or not. You know, it's just they don't like him, so they give him a joke gimmick. And then, what do you do with that?
So there's two people that come to mind when you say that in the history of the WWE. One is the Red Rooster, because Terry Taylor was an incredible
yeah,
into a fucking rooster. The other one was Phantasmo. He was there for a little bit. He was this indie wrestler. I can't remember his name, but he was good. He was a good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a side hustle as a fucking... Okay, hold on. I'm going to laugh. He had a side hustle as a kid's magician at parties. Okay? So guess what Vince McMahon did? He's going to be a magician, pal. His finishing move was a magic wedgie into a roll-up.
Jesus Christ.
He'd reach into his opponent's trunks, pull out their underwear, and they'd be stunned, and he would roll them up. That's why WWE sucked in 1993.
And AEW, how many matches end with a roll-up? And it's believable. It's not a joke. Like, they have roll-ups, and it's like, oh yeah, that made sense. Or it was actually surprising.
Wedgie! That fucker took my underwear. I don't know what to do.
You said Red Rooster, and I remember Dusty Rhodes. Because when he came to WWE, they put him in the polka dot trunks, and he killed it anyway. Tommy Dreamer, he came in and he ate hair.
I remember that. Yeah, that was stupid. That was
when he was eating Undertaker's fucking chew.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Hit Pica.
They don't.
Pica's not funny, by the way.
No. I mean, Vince thinks it is.
No, Vince is an asshole.
A little bit.
Can you sue me for that? But I mean, I guess looking back on all the time in the history of that company, we shouldn't be surprised that they do this shit. But they always had like a really good upper card to hold it together. And for the first time, they don't have a good upper card.
Yeah.
They have Roman, and they have Brock, and they have nothing.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is good, booked like shit. Seth Rollins is good, booked like shit. Big E had a decent run, but never was a believable champion.
Mm-hmm.
Just they booked him stupid. So it's just like Bobby Lashley, but nobody gives a fuck about Bobby Lashley. No offense to Bobby Lashley. He's big and he's there, but it's not, his character's kind of
yeah,
whatever. So it's just I don't know.
And You saying that reminded me of the Mick Foley controversy, a few months ago, where he, on Twitter or Facebook, he posted a video where he basically said, WWE, you did great work with Mankind and Cactus Jack, and now I look at WWE now, and I don't know why anybody would trust you with their characters, with their careers, because, he got a lot of shit for that, too, because, legends aren't supposed to talk bad about WWE, but he's just like, why? You're flushing all of these guys down.
It's like a cult.
Yeah.
It is a cult. The cult of Leon.
That's a different cult.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
We're getting subsidies for that. Don't talk badly about it.
Okay, my bad. They're giving us 4 cents.
Follow me. I will show you the way and the light.
I think because we're getting to that time, I think the overarching story here is the fact that they're tone deaf.
Yeah.
They've cut off their fan base. They make you feel stupid for being a fan, and I don't think Roman Reigns was the brunt of this, but he's just a piece of the puzzle.
I think he's a symptom of the way that they book now.
Yeah, big time. Leon, you got any closing argument statements? Just want to say fuck Roman once or something.
I would like to poop on his face.
Good. I have a final sentiment. Town is going to stab his eyes out. And Leon was not nearly cantankerous enough.
You could have said,
he was logical.
He could have been, he could have been an asset, but
yeah,
fucking force him down our throats. Have everybody calling for him to be a heel for fucking 5-6 years, and then instead of making him a chicken shit heel, let's make him just destroy everybody.
Let's turn him heel in front of no crowd.
Also, yes.
And pipe in booze.
Oh,
it probably wasn't very hard to find his music with booze on it. Just throw that out.
Dude, that match when he came out and just wailed on him, on both of them with a fucking chair, and then pinned him, and I was, oh god, I was getting physically ill.
You gotta turn it off. I mean, that's just where we're at. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm sure we'll come back to this subject because this subject seems to be popular amongst us.
I was going to make the comment that much like WWE, it seems like our formula it's starting to get a little repetitive. The problem is WWE has a lot of. I'm sorry, you tell me what the problem is. I keep cutting you off.
The problem is that we keep coming back to it because it's such a huge fucking problem.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's just, we're wrestling fans at heart. We're die-hard fucking wrestling fans.
And if we didn't care about this, if we didn't care about WWE, we wouldn't spend so much time talking about it. We do care about WWE.
It should be better than what it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it fail as a company. Yep. But right now, I don't want to watch it either. It's just kind of
Yep.
They need to eat a butthole. It's kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
A whole bag of buttholes.
Every single butthole.
Again, this wasn't like a personal shot at Roman Reigns or anything Roman Reigns does. I think Roman Reigns is a good wrestler. I think he's got he's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. He knows what he's doing. I think it's WWE ruined that guy.
They did. Yeah.
And I don't know how you fix it. But he is their top star. There's no argument. He's their top star. But that's not good at the same time.
That in and of itself should be an indictment.
Yeah. Because they still have Kevin Owens. They somehow talked Kevin Owens into coming back.
Here's a fuckload of money.
That's true. It's hard to turn down a fuckload of money. I wouldn't turn down a fuckload of money.
Neither would I.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'd make a fuckload of money.
We'd all like a fuckload of money. Yeah.
Anyway,
all right, bud.
Is that a wrap?
Bud, do your outro, bud. Let's hear the outro.
My outro kind of sucks, but Leon, Your outro was pretty good the other day.
I don't even remember what I did. What did I do?
That right there.
Hey.
You said this has been the Wrestling Hour with the Brewd.
This has been the Wrestling Hour with the Brewd.
And God bless Orange
God
Cassidy.
bless Orange Cassidy.
God bless Orange Cassidy.
Oh, we got him. We got him.
And the Shield. Leon, did you like the Shield? But is one of your children eating hair?
I think I vaguely heard that.
Okay. I heard that, then I heard Leon's. Hi, Buck. They have this match that is like...
Hi, Buck.
Brock Lesnar, he left already. He's like, fuck this, you're not going to pay attention to me.